So it is finally finished. I put the paper in the back, the black and red scrolly swirl flourishy one, which I know some of you wanted. There were so many different answers, and I had already cut the paper and put it back there, but I did not attach it with glue. So it's just sitting back there, and I can swap it out if I want to. So that's, you know, that's kind of cool. But I like not only the color, but the scale, and I don't know, I just think it goes with the style of the bookcase. But they all would have looked great. I don't know. Here is an up close of, here's the drawer. And of course the little poles. I cut all my fingernails off, I cut them, so it's hard to grab things now. So there is our little drawer. When I showed the original video and I was making up my sketch, this was going to be 2 doors, but I decided to go with one big drawer instead. I don't know, I like the way it looked, and I like the little poles. I don't know, I changed my mind. I'm allowed. Up at the top, there is that pull chain that I covered in the modeling paste and then took my finger and kind of beveled off the edge. And then I painted it, and then I just went over it with some sandpaper when I sanded the rest of, I'm holding the shelves in because the shelves are not permanently attached. And I'm not sure if I'm going to permanently attach them or not. I haven't really decided on that. So here is the side though, that modeling paste that I used through the stencil, and then I went over everything with the black paint, the acrylic paint, and then I just sanded some of that black off and then went over it with ink. So I think that turned out pretty cool because it kind of looks like wood, because the ink that I used was this one, this Ranger Cocoa ink. So it's brown. And so it kind of looks like wood, like carved wood showing through. And then I did that to all the edges where I sanded off the black. I added that ink in there to make it kind of look like wood grain showing through. And then here is the back. So the back has these 2 little furniture labels. So cute. And then I sanded, of course you have to sand the back too. And if you've ever looked at an old cabinet or an old bookcase, usually in the front you don't see much. Everything is sealed and seamed together and it looks like it's one piece. But when you look on the back, you'll probably be able to see where the cabinet maker pieced together all the layers to build up the different areas. So sometimes you'll see that. So that's why I left that in the back. I didn't cover it up with anything like a panel that would cover the whole back. I just kind of left those little layers exposed. And this isn't stickly, so we're gonna leave some of those little nuances and left just for a little extra, I don't know, just a antique characteristic that that I always liked, was seeing the little layers. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the construction of this cabinet bookcase doomiflager. Put a piece of down, and then of course the shelves just kind of go in there and fit like such and so forth. There is that. So this brings me to my next little topic. I've been wanting to do a challenge for months and months and months. But in order to do a challenge, you have to have something kind of challenging to do, or it's not a challenge, right? And so many different kinds of challenges have been done, all kinds of makers challenges. So I didn't want to redo something that somebody else had done. And we've already done the Deserted Island challenge, and you guys rocked it and made books out of all kinds of things. So I think it would be cool if you all made bookcases. It does not have to be this size. It does not have to be this style or design. It can be just shelves. It can be just a box with shelves. It doesn't have to have trim, or it can. All that would be up to you. I'm not going to micromanage you on design or style or size. You be you, man. You just rock it. You do it. But my only rule is that you can't buy anything to make it. So when I built this cabinet, I didn't purchase anything. I got out the box of scraps, and then I went scrounging around different drawers here in my workroom, and I just scrounged together some things. As you could tell, I didn't have any trim, so I had to build this up and make my own trim. I used the pull chain to mimic some trim. I used some metal filigree and, of course, the little metal pulls for decoration. And this is a die cut that was out of chipboard. But everything was made out of scraps and just pieces that I had lying around. So as long as you have glue and chipboard box or a shoe box or a cereal box, or I know you can do it. I know you can do it. So the challenge will be is not only that you can't go buy anything, which means if you need something for your bookcase and you don't have it, you're gonna have to figure out a way to build it, right? So if you don't have little pulls, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do for pulls? So are you gonna drill a hole, and are you gonna use golf tees? Are you going to use old little post earrings that you never wear anymore, little costume jewelry, and just paint it and put the little earring backer on the back, just glue that all together, then you have pulls. There's so many things. You walk around the house and just start looking at things in a different way. So that is going to be my challenge. I'll give you the rest of the month. You can have all of April. Have at it. And please feel free to paint or stain or decoupage, or you fill in the blank. I mean, what else are you going to do right now? It's not like we can just go to Target and wander around for 3 or 4 hours like normal, right? So you got to do something. Put yourself to work. Go find some materials around the house. I don't care what it is. You just go get it. Just please don't take apart something that somebody else loves. Please don't get me in trouble. Like I said, I used chipboard. Let me grab the box. So here's the box. Scoot this over. And there's still a lot in here. These, I didn't even use these. I thought I was going to. These were just left over for, I don't even know what they were for. They're just left over. But as you can see, 4 come in a package and I've never used them. So, but I had dowel rods, and then I just had some leftover little pieces of hobby wood because I had bought a package of a variety of different sizes. So they were all square. They're like square dowel rods, but they had different sizes. And I can't even remember exactly where. I think it might have been Joann's, where it had the little teeny tiny all the way up to this 1/2 inch square. I did use a little bit. I used those here. I used some little 1/4 inch square there. But then everything else was pieces of file folder. that's file folder. This is chipboard from the back of notebooks. This one is look how thick that is. That is like 3 millimeters. This was on the back of, I think, some mixed media paper. Man, it was just some hefty stuff. And then I just had some, you know, all these scraps that we have looked through before. Another thing that you can use, it's not as durable, because this thing turned out pretty stinking durable, and this is it's even heavy now. You can use like foam board. If you have any foam board laying around, this stuff does cut easy. It's kind of cheater pumpkin eater, but I don't care. I'm not your mom. I'm not gonna tell you can't use something. You just can't go buy anything. How's that? So look at stuff, and if you don't think something is very thick, you're like, oh, I've got all this chipboard, but it's just so thin. Well, just cut a bunch of it and glue it together and make it thicker. Just glue different layers together and make it thicker. That's what I ended up doing on most of the bookcase. Was something wouldn't be thick enough. So when I built the side walls, I wanted them to be heftier, and I didn't have anything that was thick enough on its own. So that's why I had added those panels to the top. And then when I built the base, you guys watched me build the base. It's hollow in the middle, but I built it up to make it look like a solid piece. And then also the top, just layers and layers and layers to make it look like a big solid piece. So that's really the only secret to it is just layering and building and gluing. Okay, there is your challenge if you choose to accept it. Like I said, there's not a whole lot of rules going on, so you just can't go buy anything. So other than that, just, you know, have at it. Be fancy or don't be fancy. Make one that's this big if you want. I don't, of course it wouldn't take you very long if you make one really, really little. I built mine to fit my books, you know, the wee books. Let's scoot in a bit here. And so I wanted mine to be, to fit the books and some other fun little things that I'm going to be putting in there. So that was my plan. I will give you the rough measurements for this. I'll probably put that on a schematic and put it up on Flickr, which the link will be down below. And I'm gonna say rough. I'm gonna measure it as it is now. Probably take a picture of it and label it, but they don't always start out the way I start them. They don't end up the way I start them, because I end up changing my mind and tweaking things, especially if I can't go out and buy something and I have to adapt. Well, then everything goes out the window. But let me show you what I am working on now to fill up the rest of the shelves. And this has nothing to do with the challenge. So that part is just construction. You do what you want to do. So to go along with the books on the shelves, because I like lots of stuff, I created a little project.
Oh, sweet.